AM 1220.
510 here on your hometown station, KHTS. Jessica Hartley is a marriage coach, a relationship expert, and she's founder of the legendary Love Program. She also hosts the Thriving Relationship Show the third Thursday of every month here on KHTS. And she joins me in studio right now. Jessica, what up?
Hey, what's up, Aaron? How are you?
I'm doing well. I could be getting a little more sleep these days, but it's a constant battle, you know?
Oh, yeah. What's causing you the loss of sleep?
TV. I just watch way too much TV. I'm catching up on Bachelorette. I have like 6 hours of
you watch
viewing.
that?
I do. Hey, so you're a relationship expert. Do you think that The Bachelorette works? Do you
no.
watch it? Do you watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?
I know there's a lot of fans out there, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that one.
So you don't believe it works? Startling statistics, like 10% of them actually end up in marriage. So I actually do want to get your opinion on this because someone close to me, some would say he's my brother. My mom would say he's my brother. He's in a relationship. He's been in a relationship for 2 years. Now my grandma, my mom, all my aunts are saying, oh, he's going to get married, he's going to get engaged, but he doesn't live with his girlfriend. He's never lived with her. And I think it's a mistake to get engaged to be married without living together. Where do you stand on that?
Well, that's a very personal question, and I think for certain reasons, there's a lot of good reasons to live with that person first, but then there's also other reasons not to. I think that's not really an important thing to focus on. I think it could go well or wrong either way. It doesn't matter if you do it first. It doesn't matter if you get married first. That's not what it depends on, really. The one thing that you do have, I think your point is that you get to test the waters. You get to see, get to get used to that person, living with that person. But I think that's the mentality that's a little bit skewed, because when you go into a marriage with someone, you want to go into it with the idea that, hey, things are going to get hard, knowing that it's going to get hard at some point.
Right.
And that my disposition is that I'm going to work it out, that I'm always going to work it out. And that, number one, we're going to use conflicts that come up for our growth, because that's really what they're there for. And sometimes, especially that first year after you get married, it's very hard because you're melding the two individualities into now an us. So the relationship identity forms at that point. So now there's you and her and the relationship. So
right. Yeah. So you're saying inherently things are going to come up. Issues are going to arise if you put two people that have never lived together, if you put them in the same space for an extended period of time. But it's all about working through those issues.
Yes. So, here's the reason why I would say that it's okay not to live with the person first, is because sometimes that could scare you, because stuff is going to happen. And if you're the type of person that is thinking, let me see what happens when we move in, stuff is going to come up. So if that's what you're going to determine the stay or not stay, or marry or not marry, on, then I think that you're already 1 foot out the door. Yeah,
you're doomed to from the jump.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. Is it important for every relationship to receive counseling? Say you're going out with somebody, say you're with somebody, but you think things are going well, they're on pretty good footing. Is it important even for that relationship to receive some kind of counseling?
I believe so, yeah, especially if you want to enter into marriage one day with them, because relationship is an art form. And moving through conflict is an art form, and learning how to communicate and get your points heard and well received is an art form. Being able to learn and nurture the relationship as something separate from nurturing yourself, and being able to maintain both of those, is an art form. And all these things we have to learn how to do. And if we don't, then we'll be unsuccessful in our marriage or long-term relationship, whatever you want, whatever your goal is. So yes, absolutely. It's just like if you want to work at a specific job, you need to go to school and learn how to be really good at that in order for you to have success. And that's essentially what seeking help in a relationship is learning how to have success in that. You don't just go into it thinking, oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, right.
Because you'll come right close and center with some of those issues that you're going to make you have to go seek help, which is also important to be able to have that humility to say, okay, I'm ready for help now, or
Yeah.
we're ready for help.
I might not be able to fix these things, and I need some outside help.
Absolutely.
We're speaking with Jessica Hartley, who has coached couples and individuals all over the world from pre-marriage to saving their marriage from divorce. When is the relationship beyond saving, or do you feel that all relationships can be saved?
Well, there are certain things that I have in my own mind as a checklist. So when someone comes to see me, I'll do a pretty extensive interview with them just to see where things are. And there's a couple of things that I look for when it's beyond saving, but they're very low, very, in my mind, most relationships, if they were entered under the terms of absolutely feeling connected to this person at one point, and each person has the willingness to grow, and each person wants to be in the relationship, wants it to grow, even if one person wants it to grow, then I believe that you can save it.
Do you only work with couples, or do you work with all types of relationships? Say a father's having trouble connecting with one of his kids. Do you work with in that situation as well?
I do work with that. Some of my earlier work was the parent-child relationship, and I transitioned it later on into working with couples specifically. So the thing is that when you learn the art of relationship, often it spans across all sorts of relationships. It's not just the spousal or partner kind of relationship. It really can be, parent to child, child to parent, that kind of thing too. However, I would say it's definitely my specialty to work with couples, because there's other dynamics that are in this that I have learned, like just sexual mastery and things like that.
Right.
The sexual relationship, as well as being able to maintain the love and the intimacy and the desire over the long haul. Things like that, which are unique to that kind of relationship.
Beyond just the sexual aspect, I feel like most of these issues, most of what's at the root of these issues, is a lot of people just feeling like they're not being heard. Is that right? Would you agree with that, or am I off there? In my non-professional opinion? Because I think people tend to fall in relationships and they kind of lose sight of how they treated that individual in the beginning, when they were really trying to woo them and they were really trying to make that connection with them, and that's lost over time.
I would say on the surface you're right, but there's something a lot deeper than that that's happening, and it's a loss of feeling connected to oneself. One of the things that makes my work and my program unique is that the very first half of it, we just focus on getting you back to yourself rather than focusing on the relationship, because that's going to just, if we just focused on the relationship and we said, here's some tools, you're going to create a temporary fix, because the root of this is me and myself and what I've got coming out from inside of me. So when you're in a long-term relationship, what ends up happening is that the other person will reflect back to you the inner stuff that you have going on. And some of that might feel like you're not being heard or understood or well received. And so then it hurts. Then you have this conflict, but really that conflict is an opportunity to learn how to address the root of the problem, rather than just trying to give it a temporary fix and say, okay, how can I get heard? Which is also a really amazing tool to have, but the root of it is what's going on inside of me, and the perceptions that I'm creating because of that, and the meanings that I'm making about those perceptions, about what the other person's doing or not doing. And it's like you could live your relationship or your life trying to control everything outside of you to make it so that you don't get hurt, or so that you feel good, or so that you feel happy, or you can learn to live your life from within. I'm happy, I'm complete, I'm whole, and the relationship gets to be the icing on the cake. You know? And so that's really the model. So
instead of trying to change everything around you, it's changing yourself to become more flexible, more able to kind of adapt to different situations.
Yes, but more learning to cultivate all of that within you, rather than being dependent on that outside of you.
Got it. Jessica Hartley, marriage coach and relationship expert. Is it tough having friends in relationships? Do they lean on you for advice?
Yes, they do. Yes. And then sometimes it's very hard because people won't tell me what's going on, even though I have an idea, because they know that I'll be really honest with them and say, yeah. One of the things that's unique is I call people out on their own stuff all the time. I call my friends out because, like I said just a minute ago, it's about usually what's going on inside of us that is creating this problem outside of us in our relationships. So sometimes, I don't get my friends avoid the topic for that reason. But, hey, whenever everyone's ready, they're ready.
Do you charge them at all?
No.
No.
I mean, for a simple thing,
Yeah.
no. But if they want to do some, yes.
Right. Jessica Hartley, marriage coach and relationship expert, founder of the Legendary Love Program. What is the Legendary Love Program?
It's a program that I came up with over, just understanding all of the dynamics of what it takes to create change. This is one of the things that sets me apart, really, is that it's not just about coming and doing talk therapy or just talking about what's going wrong. For me, I'm the kind of person that wants to create momentum, to create change. And so one of the things I did was I studied brain development, and not only that, but how we acquire new skills, because a lot of the stuff of why we have a problem has a lot to do with that we're repeating old patterns. So in order to change that, we have to have a structure that can help us rewire those old paradigms, those old patterns, those old behaviors. So the program itself is, there's two phases to it. The first, like I said, is just, either the sacred feminine or the high value masculine. And then the second part focuses on the relationship itself. And so we go through each part of that in learning to integrate and start doing things differently, and the program itself provides the structure to do that. So practice opportunities, action steps, feedback on that practice, just different things that not only all the action steps, but the new model that is successful. So
Jessica also hosts the Thriving Relationship Show, the third Thursday of every month, noon here on KHTS. You can take her relationship assessment quiz online on jessicahartley.com. There you can also sign up for a relationship consultation. Listen to all of her shows, learn about the 6 essential elements. Could you name those 6 essential elements right on air, right on the spot?
Yes, sometimes I fumble, but let's see. The first is friendship. So it's friendship, trust, deep connection. And then the opposite of that is our sexual connection. So having that passion and the desire over time. The third is being able to take ownership and to heal your wounds, to heal your old stuff, to take ownership and know how to do that. The fourth is conflict resolution. The fifth is communication mastery, so being able to communicate in a way where you're heard and well received. And the sixth is self-honor, which is really the most fundamental thing. But self-honor, being able to be honoring to yourself, true to yourself, authentic, and be in relationship at the same time.
It sounds like a comprehensive program. How long did it take you to put it all together?
Well, I don't remember.
It's just an ongoing thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a while. I essentially put it all out, laid every component out, understood the structure of what people would need to create lasting change, and just put it piece by piece. I took everything out that wasn't necessary, and just kept it as simple as possible as well, so that it can be easily consumed. And then, and I would say, every now and then I do give it a few updates and, change things around a little bit as we continue and it goes. But it's got an amazing track record. We've got lots of people having moved through it. There's lots of success stories that I've got on my website. And people come to me when they're on the brink of divorce. So it's a great thing to be able to say that, yeah, I've helped them move from that place to thriving.
Yeah, you're catching them at the edge.
Yes.
That's crazy.
At the worst place.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, again, you can sign up for relationship consultation, listen to all of her previous shows, learn about the 6 essential elements that she just laid out for you on the spot, get all the info you'd ever want, jessicahartley.com. And you can also reach out by phone. Do you have the phone number handy?
Yeah, 661-347-8473. You could call or text.
The third Thursday of every month at noon, Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley, jessicahartley.com. Thank you, Jessica Hartley.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
Of course, 525